Hey, welcome back to Wiser TV. This is Mark Becker, and I'm with Wiser coach Todd Davis from the Winston office.
Hey.
And Todd's got a couple other examples of some things that are going on in the financial services industry. We were talking before with Terry Miller about the differences between brokers and coaches, and Todd's got a very interesting story about some things he's seen going on. Why don't you just jump into it?
Well, like I said, we were watching the earlier segment, and I wanted to kind of add a really fresh story that just happened this week. So I've been working with, and I work with a lot of clients that are retiring and transitioning out. That's what we call it, transitioning out from their former employer. And so what's going on there is that, you usually have quite a few sessions with these people. You may sit down with them and you may have 3, 4, 5 sessions with them, hour to 2 hours apiece, doing all types of planning. What am I going to do now? How am I going to handle things with the kids? What's going to happen if? A lot of what-if planning. The first thing I tell people about a plan is that as soon as I give it to you, it's wrong. And what you do with the plan is you have a plan and then you have a backup plan. And I stole that from the Armageddon movie. It's like, these guys don't have backup plans. I mean, and that's the case. We're supposed to have that. The bottom line being is that I had recently worked. If you want to know the difference between a broker and a coach is first off, a coach doesn't sell you on the phone on an 800 number thousands of miles away. And your coach is sitting with you face to face going, what's important in your life? How are we making these decisions? I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Here's how we're going to plan. And that was the sessions that we had for 2 or 3 times with this recent client. Now what we had to do was obviously we had to call up this big national firm that does their retirement for their particular industry, and they were in the school system education arena. And what we had to do was, and I'm very familiar with this company, and I had to call up and say, with the clients there with me, and say, look, they require their own transfer paperwork. They have some very unique little features in their plan too, like a 10-year payout and things like that. So that's not normal. And what that 10-year payout means is hey, I can't get all of my money and roll it out at one time. I have to take it over a spread of 10 years. Client wasn't even aware of that, and they've been an employee there 30 years. And that is very common. Now, it's nothing bad against the other vendor or anything, but what was interesting about the meeting was, and I think it's very much current and economically driven, is that when we called up to get the paperwork, which I've done hundreds of times with these types of employees, immediately the broker on the other phone, I call him the 800 number broker. I mean, this is the guy that's never met you before in your life, has no clue what color your eyes are, your hair is, or anything, and he calls you up and he immediately goes into sales mode. He immediately went and didn't even ask the client. I don't even know if he knew their name. He never even asked them, what is it you're trying to accomplish? What are your goals? What futuristic things are you trying to do? He immediately went into sales mode and tried to retain the business and go, well, you need to move this money over here to this person, and you need to move it here, and you need to we've got this product, and this product. You don't have to move the money. Total what we call preservation of business. No clue at all about what the needs are of the client. That's a broker. Okay? A coach is a person that's going to sit down and talk to you about all types of planning issues. These same people, we were talking to them about long-term care and talking to them about the cost of long-term care and that's getting ready to go on. We were going out and giving them a review of every long-term care agency in the community about how are you going to pay for it, what options do you have, how much does this cost. Not only does it maybe not apply to them, it may apply to their parents who were still living. Matter of fact, one of their parents was still living. So, did this guy, Mr. 800 broker, know that?
I doubt it.
I don't think so. That's what's being driven is that, don't get me wrong, that's always been there, but it's heightened now. It's more aggressive now. If those people had called them on their own, not sitting in my office, he would have very likely gotten them to do the wrong thing. That's a broker.
So one tip for if you're trying to determine whether you're working with a broker or a coach or something about whomever you're working with is, if specific product comes up in the first 30 minutes of the conversation, you're probably talking to someone that's coming from a sales mentality as opposed to an educational or a future planning mentality. So another great difference.
Here's the golden rule. You don't buy quality advice over the phone. Period.
Well said.
That's right.
Come back with us on our next
Thanks a lot.
installment of Wiser TV. Thanks, Todd.